Like,
Welcome
we'll
to
bring up,
Ross tells you how it
fuck up,
is.
Dave. Shut up for a second. We'll bring
Welcome.
up like a movie or something. Like, I think the last one, like Interstellar, was one, and then another one was like Back to the Future, and so I'm like, have you even seen those movies, Ross? It's the dripping condescension that fucking gets me more than anything else.
I had absolutely no condescension
No, fuck
whatsoever.
you. No condescension. Why would you ask? Not once
just
have I
how he
seen
is.
you say.
Because, Ross,
have you,
because-
No, shut the fuck up a second. Not once have I heard you say, have you even watched Back to the Future? Dave? It's always me. Like, you think I'm
Because-
some sort of knuckle dragon Neanderthal. You fucking pretentious cunt.
I mean, look, Ross. Let me just. Those things are
First
absolutely.
of all, apologise, then give me your bullshit
No,
excuse.
those things are things
I
I
read
absolutely.
that.
Shut up, Dave. Those are things I absolutely.
Telling each other.
We are.
No, you shut the fuck up.
You wanted energy. Here
Bold
we go.
strategy. Dave jumps to your defense. No, Dave, shut up. Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
Those are things I absolutely think of you, Ross. But the reason I ask is because you do seem to have more like blind spots with movies where you haven't seen this, and I'm not. It's not a judgment.
Give me an example. Because I've seen Back to the Future, I've seen Interstellar,
Star Wars
I've seen
and Lord of the
fucking
Rings.
Ghostbusters. By the way, for those of you, fuck Lord of the Rings. That's one right.
Star Wars and Lord of the Rings.
I tried watching. I watched Star Wars. Watched the first one.
No,
Didn't
that
grab
doesn't
me.
count.
It's
That
not a
doesn't
blind
count.
spot. It's not a blind. A blind spot is like, oh no, it's just something that I never.
Okay,
heard,
it's
you know what I mean?
it's
It never happened across.
it's a deliberate omission. Then it's a deliberate omission, which is worse.
I tried watching Lord of the Rings twice. It put me to sleep twice. I watched Star Wars, and it was a perfectly okay film. Right? Now, we've gone over this several times. I've explained that Star Wars, for me, I missed the boat. Do you know what I mean? And then up until that point, then everyone hypes it up so much. You know, like, I better watch Star Wars. It's obviously the best movie ever made. And it's okay. And because people build it up so much, you're like, well, I'm all right for the rest of them, thanks. So, and several times you've done. Have you watched this, Ross? Have you even seen it? Oh, you have the attention span to watch this. Like, you piece of shit.
I didn't.
There's two things at play here, Ross. It's my turn to talk, Sam. Shut the fuck up. Right.
Well played,
There's
Dave.
two things at play here. I think number one, I think Sam respects Irish cinema. I think Sam assumes that you're from Ireland and therefore you didn't have access to these films. We can circle back to
Well,
Sam's
hold on. I know nothing about Irish
Wow.
We
cinema.
can circle back. We can circle
Even
back.
that's a reach.
I know nothing about Irish cinema.
Exactly, you see?
No, but you're talking about like the cinemas in Ireland.
Yeah, I am, yeah.
And I
Oh, I thought you meant like Irish
filmmaking.
Yeah.
No,
like
no,
the
I
film
mean
culture
cinemas in Ireland.
Yeah, Sam shits on My Left Foot. You know, like
Yeah.
Is that an Irish film?
Number two, I really generously assumed when Sam said, "Have you seen it?" that he meant the new one because that's the one I wanted to talk about.
see, no.
That is what I meant, to be
No,
fair.
Shut the fuck up, Sam. Well, no one's talking to you yet.
Hold on, because your entire rant,
Fuck up,
Ross.
Sam. No one's talking
No,
to you.
your
It's up
entire
for me
rant.
to reply.
Your
Were you talking to
tirade.
me or Sam? Dave, were you talking to me or Sam?
Huh?
Dave,
I was
were you talking to me or Sam?
Room.
The room, right? He's such a
Right,
piece of
address
shit, Dave.
someone next
Let's
time.
come on. Let's
On the
Ross.
fence, cunt.
Ross.
What do you mean?
Ross.
Who was I talking to? I said I was talking about the film Ghostbusters Afterlife, and I rather generously assumed that Sam meant that.
That's
But
what I
then
meant.
I wasn't saying that to
So
you.
you're talking
Ross,
about Sam in the
specifically,
third person,
or
so
to
you're
you,
talking
Sam,
to Ross.
specifically.
That's
I was
fine.
saying it
So-
to the fucking both of you.
Right,
Ross,
you're
Ross,
done
I think
now.
we can
Your part
agree.
is
I think we
done,
can
Dave.
agree that we can both turn on Dave together now. Let's,
You know what? I'm tempted. This started off as me, like we're probably getting ready to reel
do
into
it.
Sam.
Do it.
Fucking turn on you. Fucking burrow into your ear and yeah. No, so Dave, yeah, I mean, if this was the first time Sam had sort of asked me a question like that, yeah, I would say, oh, well, he must be meaning this movie. But the thing is, this question has come out numerous times, where it's like staple movies, like, have you watched The Goonies? Yes, I've watched The Goonies. Oh, have you? Have you watched
Never
Goonies,
never
really?
have I mentioned
He
the
does
Goonies
the
to you.
same thing to me, Ross.
What?
Like he'll occasionally be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you haven't seen X," and it'll be some fucking obscure film. that no one's seen.
But no. That's absolutely because you do the same thing to me, Dave. You do the same.
Huh?
In fact, you did it the other day. You said, "What? I can't remember what it was," and you responded,
Good example.
Really? As if like, what did I fucking stop? Why? Why are we asking me again? Why?
You had him on the ropes there, Dave. This is preposterous.
I can't remember the film, but the reason I asked that time was specific. I think it was like a teen movie. The reason I'd asked is because it was really ubiquitous, and I was just surprised you hadn't seen it. Not because you should have seen it, but because you just like hadn't accidentally. It was on Channel 5 every day for 10 years, sort of seen it.
So I think next time, Sam, if you could have just like in this case, Ghostbusters, just say, "Have you seen the latest Ghostbusters?" That would have been perfectly acceptable.
It was this film. It was a film. It was a film we had to talk about today. Point Break.
Oh right,
That's the film that, that Dave went really to me.
Again, like quite ubiquitous. Like one of the action greats that was on TV throughout our childhood. I wasn't surprised I hadn't seen it because you should have seen it because it's like a classic piece of cinema. But
No.
like.
This is crushing to my defense. I also had not seen Point Break.
Which is fine. Again, I'm a bit surprised, but more because like it was on TV so much.
And Ross.
And you'd both seen Speed. You'd both seen
Yes.
the worst Keanu
Yes.
Reeves action movie.
But right, so a couple of things then, Ross. So number one, you definitely haven't seen this movie, which is as your accusations against me is quite evidently true. Number two, this entire thing, your entire rant was based on the fact that I asked, "Had you seen the recent shitty Ghostbusters?" Which you have absolutely no reason to see because it's terrible and you shouldn't see it.
Don't try and rewrite history, Sam. You just said, "Oh, have you seen Ghostbusters?" You didn't say, "Have you seen the latest movie?" You said,
But that's what I assumed, Dave, because Dave was
No,
talking.
it was the doubling down, guys. It was the doubling down when Ross said, "Which one? What do you mean? Have I seen Ghostbusters?" And Sam said, "Well, like, any of them or something."
yes, thank you, Dave. Yeah.
And he
If
was like,
if
"Oh,
only-
has he not seen Ghostbusters? Is he somehow like impaired?"
If only we were recording this conversation, we could get back to see what we said.
You are not going to like how this turns out.
We will not be releasing this tapes. The tapes will be deleted. Like Richard Nixon in the White House, there'll be a 21-minute segment that'll just disappear.
Oh,
No.
Futurama really resurrected Richard Nixon.
Yeah,
in the
so I
public
think we can all
consciousness.
agree, and by all of us, I mean the majority, me and Dave, that Sam, you could do with some sensitivity training. How you talk to people.
Fuck you and fuck
He
you.
was getting
That's
down
my
off that
response.
like shiny white tower, really. Because he was like,
Big up on that big ivory pedestal of his.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well,
Anyway, it's been 7 minutes since I asked. Has anyone seen the Ghostbusters film?
Which one?
Afterlife, Ross, the newest one.
Yes.
Yes.
oh
What do you
dear.
think?
Next question.
What did you think about it?
Well, so
Oh wait a minute. Is this? Hold on. Is this the one with? Is this the first one with
This is the
Sandra
one with all the
Bullock?
women. This is the new one.
this is the
Oh
one.
right, no, I haven't seen that. No. So I don't know.
Oh my god. And you know what, Sam?
What's your point, caller? What's your point, caller?
That's okay, Sam.
Thank you, Ross.
Say that you haven't seen the
Fine.
movie.
That's
Not
very
just
nice
in
of
a
you.
movie.
I mean, 2022, people are allowed to not watch movies, Sam. It's okay.
So Dave,
I thought it was a really unsatisfying Ghostbusters flavored movie. That I
Fair.
thought I thought it was well cast. I thought that like the use of music was very good. I just really wish, really wish they'd written a script that wasn't just let's do Ghostbusters again.
It's Ghostbusters again, but with Avengers-style writing, with the funny little quips and stuff, and their look at these quirky mannerisms.
No, my core problem, Ross. My core problem is the fact it's the same ghost. It's the same ghost and the same basic set from the first movie.
what ghost?
So the plot of the movie,
Zool.
like a spoilers,
Zool, right.
it's Zool. So we have the main the characters are Harold Ramis's Egon's daughter and her kid and his grandkids. He's dead, and a ghost. We literally get a Harold
Egon's-
Ramis Force ghost in this movie. We literally get a Harold Ramis Force ghost.
Oh,
in this
is this
movie.
streaming or what's going on with this?
It's on
Is
Now
this,
TV.
Can we absolutely do it?
We can, but I just want to get this out because it's been bothering me since I watched it.
Yeah.
Like they obviously reuse all the shit from the music from the first one. They're trying to evoke that. Like, let's put on a little plate to one side the fact that they managed to fucking dig up Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and
Watch Dave forget the name of the black man.
I know Ray Stantz.
Not a
is the
great look.
character name.
Not
Ernie
a great
Hudson.
look on you, Dave.
Ernie Hudson. Right. So forget.
Is it
Let's
Ernie
put
Hudson?
them.
Can we just
Fairly
you
certain
fact
it's Ernie
check that,
Hudson.
please? It is.
So
Huh?
let's
Yeah,
put
Ernie
them
Hudson,
on one,
yeah.
on one
Yeah.
side, right?
Dave, why are you
And let's get back to the fact that this movie, the plot, Sam, is that the family moves to this farmhouse where Egon lived and he was crazy. And it's one of the horrible things that a movie does, which is like they basically say that after Ghostbusters 2, none of these characters ever saw each other again. Like, and I hate that in a movie. I hate where you like in a sequel movie where you just decide that the last 20 years, like, well, they're just losers and their lives were horrible. And that's like, oh, that's really dark and horrible. And then they basically have the kids trying to solve the problem that Zool, the ghost, is in this desert town in a cave, and the statues look like the same as the statues from the apartment building from the first one. You've got a fucking heinous cameo from Sigourney Weaver at the very end, and like the plot is you have the Paul Rudd playing the nerdy character. What's my brain doing? From Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh,
What's his name? The actor,
the Keymaster.
the Keymaster.
Yeah.
At least
Fuck
it's a
me.
white guy's name you can't remember, Dave.
Yeah, I'm allowed to forget names, Ross. And I don't discriminate in forgetting names. I just forget them
You remember Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray pretty quickly.
because they're really famous. Ernie Hudson's done nothing else.
Hey, whoa.
Anyway,
Fuck me. What's his name?
you have Paul Rudd and the mum are like the two.
Rick
people that-
Moranis.
Rick Moranis. But like it's the same story beats from the first movie. Like, and it's directed by Ivan Reitman as well. So it can fucking not Ivan Reitman. Sorry, it's Jason Reitman.
His son. Yeah.
His disgusting shitboy of a son who's a director because his daddy was a director.
Another one.
And
really.
like, yeah, and do you know what? It's just
Is it
lazy.
just
Like,
nepotism,
it's
or is he
fine.
or is he a a predator as well?
Huh?
Is it just nepotism, or is he a predator as well?
I mean, he's in Hollywood and he's a man, so I assume he's a predator. But
This
I
is
don't
the problem,
actually have
isn't
any
it?
evidence. For
You
that.
have to. You're like every single time we do a movie, I go on the who's directed it, fine, and then I just like scroll down personal life. Oh no.
And that's a bad miss.
It's like, oh shit, I can't directly praise him because he's a. Actually, there was one that we didn't do, and I forgot to say like this guy's a loser because he was abusive, and it's like, oh, now we just sound like we're just giving this guy.
Which one was it?
I can't. It was a couple of movies ago. I don't know, but it's So,
But
Jason
anyway,
Reitman
like-
apparently not a serial sex abuser.
Not yet discovered.
Evidence is yet to come to light.
Yeah, he's very much guilty.
Just
of
like to
permanent-
distance myself
Yeah.
from that comment for
My-
legal reasons.
My point was that it's fine to like use nostalgia and like steal quite liberally from the film that you're making a sequel for, and even to get like the old cast back and like you drum up support, you get people to cinema. It's fine to do that, but then to like not bother writing a movie to put all that in as well, I think is just like the top
Well,
crime.
It
And I
comes.
can't even. I'm a massive fan of Ghostbusters. I can't
Yeah.
even imagine how,
Yeah.
as a super fan, you would watch this and come away thinking it was a good film.
It comes to the total lack of originality that we have on display in Hollywood these days. Because what are they doing? They're basically banking on the nostalgia factor of it's a Ghostbusters movie, which probably brought enough people in. Well, did bring enough people in with the Sandra Bullock one to justify this film. And then this sounds like, and I'd have to watch it properly, this sounds like they actually lean into the 80s nostalgia even more
I'm
Because
sure
then
we
you-
touched on this before. Home Alone, we were like, oh, it's not so much as like tapping on the nostalgia, but basically they tapped into a fucking vein and extract every
And there's blood
ounce
everywhere. Spraying. Blah.
They're
It's in my mouth.
slicing it with a razor.
It's lacking originality, but it goes further than that. It's the studio does not have faith in a new, like, do you know what I mean? When Home Alone was made, the studio had to have faith that that movie would make its budget
Yeah.
back, basically.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it seems like nothing. Do you know what I mean? Not even a franchise film can have an original script. Star Wars is really guilty of this as well. Like, not even a franchise film can have an original script. Basically, the studio says, right, that was really successful 30 years ago. Just make that again. And they're like, oh, can we not change the story or like the character names?
And then
or
when they
anything?
try
And they just remake it. And then people go and pay to watch it. And they learn the wrong lesson that they can keep doing this and keep making money.
and then Ryan Johnson tried to change it with the second Star Wars movie, and the internet
They
lost
took him
its
out back
shit.
and shot him in the head.
and so they reverted to somehow Palpatine has returned as being like that's everything that we're going to hang our movie on.
Yes, and it's like, please, like, trust your audience wants to go out and watch something that.
Yeah,
isn't-
but
do you know what I mean?
right.
They're not so intimately familiar with the plot beats of that
We-
they could fucking sleep through it and then write a detailed review.
Just like politicians, we get the movies we deserve. Because how many times have you been to the cinema? Obviously, COVID has fucked that up quite a lot. I would say the vast and shut up, Dave, because you're a nerd. But I would say the vast majority of people are going to the cinema because they recognise something that they've already seen before, or they see like a big actor, you know, the usual things. But you go to see Star Wars movies, you go to see Chris Nolan films, in my examples, and you're not going to go see anything else. You'll wait for it to come to streaming or whatever. And so we have enabled this because we don't. We're not
That's
willing.
fine, Sam, but then can't they try and make like? Do you know what I mean? Can't they also try and make that movie like new? Even if in this Ghostbusters movie, for an example,
No.
even if that plot was exactly the same, except it's a new ghost. It's a different ghost.
I'll tell you why, Dave. And you probably know this already, but the thing is, with movies like this here, you know, you have like what are they called, like executive producers and whatnot, and the studios behind them, and they're all publicly owned, right? And what people like this hate, they hate unfamiliarity, they hate new ideas, because new ideas, by definition, are as yet unproven and therefore are a risk. What's not a risk? Movies that did really, really well. Let's do that again. Let's do it. I said the same thing about 21 Jump Street, and they did make the same thing again. Just do it all again. Do the exact same thing again and make us more money. They're not happy with a lot of money. They want all the money. That's the problem. And when you have something new, original, that's unproven. Can't have that. That's a fucking money loss. That's a money burner. Shut it down.
In this movie, Ross, in Ghostbusters Afterlife,
I've
Zool
seen it.
still looks like David Bowie.
Who?
In the year, Sam, in this new movie,
Not
Zool,
who is David
character
Bowie.
design,
Who's
He's
the
Ham.
same like David Bowie?
Hey Ross, have you even listened to David Bowie music? You fucking cretin.
Elvis is.
You see how I moved on because I knew Ross was doing a bit.
Well,
I
it makes
think-
a change from you interrupting the fucking.
Yeah,
bit.
to be
Go
fair,
ahead.
Dave. I don't think we're. I think this is just life now, isn't it? And that's fine because you know what, the cinemas are for the fucking unwashed masses to go and watch films. Doesn't really support my
I was gonna say,
elitist.
we've come full circle,
Yeah.
there, haven't we, Sam?
No, but really,
Here's
I
a
don't go
terrifying
to this.
thought for you.
I don't go to the cinema. People
I
go
know
to cinema
somebody-
for socializing, for getting out and eating popcorn, and that's what it's the cinema experience. So what they're watching kind of doesn't matter. When you're talking about movies, it's all streaming. Streaming is where everything's going to go, and I'm amazed that cinema chains haven't all shut down, which is not something I want because there's people who work there and all that. But I'm amazed through COVID they're still there, and that's despite the fact that there isn't anything original going into cinemas, because the cinemas don't want to risk either, because they need to put bombs on seats, and that's just the way it goes. So I think fucking just let the cinemas be the Marvel circus. That's fine, and put everything good on streaming, and we can enjoy it on there. You know.
Yep.
I guess. I do think you're maybe on the extreme side of like.
Oh,
cinema
100%.
haters.
Have you
100% hate
Dave,
cinema.
have you seen
Hate
the
it.
All right, easy boy. Have you seen the previous Ghostbusters movie, Dave?
I watched about half an hour of it, and I was like, I don't have
Dreadful.
time for this. And I'm a single man in my 30s. I have all the time
And you know
in the
what?
world.
I'd like to just say it's not because it's a bunch of women. It's not because it's the
No,
women
it's
Ghostbusters.
boring. It was
because
really,
it's
really
just-
Didn't
boring.
need to say that. You didn't need to say that.
No,
Sam,
no,
but
but
then
no,
it said it.
no, because we're three white guys. We're three white guys on the internet, Ross. Of course, we need to say it. We need to actively call out because it's not about that, and that is totally like. Bridesmaid is a funny, full female ensemble
It's
cast
not
movie.
a fucking-
Some of my
it's not
best friends are women.
yeah, it's not because
You said,
Bridesmaid
like,
Sam is a movie about women written for female characters. It's not like the Ocean's 11 movie, the Ocean's 8, or this new Ghostbusters, which are literally a movie that starred a bunch of men. Let's have that exact same movie, but instead of we'll just recast them as women. That's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
writing a new movie.
We won't change
That's
anything
just-
about their characters.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm surprised there's not scenes where they go up and piss in a urinal because they just didn't change that in the script. You know, like
What I was getting at, and this is what I was going to say at the start. So, like, you know, what the original question was, have you seen the Ghostbusters movie?
we still don't know. Anyway, Ross, what I was saying
I'm
was,
trying to corral us here. So for me, I treated this movie much like my opinion on Terminator: Dark Fate, and that if you guys remember, Terminator Genisys was such
that's
a
my favorite joke.
My favorite joke is when we're talking about, I think it's like, you know, DC villains, and like each sentence start off with a different villain. Anyway, but
No,
Terminator
the better one, Sam. What's that horrible Will Smith movie we watched?
Gemini Man?
No, the one with the cancer, not the cancer. He's selling like
Pursuit
Oh,
of
Stephen
Happiness.
Hunt.
Happiness, yeah.
Oh, Pursuit of
Happiness.
Happiness.
Is better.
Yes. I like Genisys. Anyway, Terminator Genisys was such a dumpster fire, especially for people who are a fan of this franchise, that when Terminator Dark Fate came out, that was the one that came out, I think it was either last year or the year before, you know, with the original cast. It was, by normal standards, yeah, it's an okay movie. Comparing it to the one that came before it, oh man, it's a fucking, what a breath of fresh air. What a wonderful movie this is. And this is what I treat Ghostbusters Afterlife as. On itself, yeah, it's a movie. Compared to the one that came before it, oh, what a wonderful, you know, fresh life breathed into this wonderful franchise.
Nah, let's just kill all the franchises. Honestly, I couldn't give a shit.
It's black and white art house movies, and if you've got any problem with that, this way to the brainwashing center. Yeah, please grab your toothpicks as you enter, and you'll be using them to hold your eyes open while we
You say all
indoctrinate
this. You say all this, and I'm still watching all the Marvel stuff. It's not like I'm not watching it.
Oh God, I'm not. Who could? I mean, who could? Who has?
I just watched Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness,
too. I watched it
streaming
this week.
now on Disney Plus.
Disney Players.
Disney.
Scarlet Witch is back. Ooh, what's going to happen?
Ooh, a follow-up to WandaVision.
We watched
now.
Ant-Man the other day, and I'm like, hey guys, this Ant-Man movie, pretty good. Have you heard of Ant-Man? Like, this is how far I am behind. I'm so far
All
behind.
road. Benedict Cumberbatch.
And they keep
Movie.
talking about, like, these things that have happened in the wider MCU. I'm like, Callum's like, what's that? I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know.
And Callum's like, God, my dad is an idiot.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Doesn't even understand the chronology of
Don't
the
you know
MCU.
anything about our
What a
religion?
loser.
Anyway, should we...
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Iron Man?
Should we talk? Should we come? We came here to talk about a different movie, and not that this was very entertaining and is absolutely going to go out as a mini episode. I think.
Well,
In its
Oh, yeah,
own-
week off. Fantastic. Oh, see what we've done there, lads.
That's it, yeah.
No.
Some work.
Bonus content
Next
for our
week's episode
Patreon.
sorted.
no,
Bring
no,
back-
it's not bonus content. That's our card in the back pocket, where it's like, oh, my child is annoying the fucking head off me, and I can't be arsed with it. Let's do. Oh, We got
Listen,
25 minutes of rambling.
sorry,
bullshit.
guys. Again, the recording has failed. I don't want you to feel any kind of comfort that you can just miss a week whenever you like. So, absolutely not. You will be here every week.
The Taskmaster. So let's talk about a vastly superior movie. And can I just maybe put a little moratorium on telling each other to shut the fuck up? Just let's keep that at a baseline.
I think we needed to get all of us, and the energy is certainly higher than it was when we started recording. So that's good. I'm just going to get a beer. 10 seconds.
I came in hot, guys, and I'm sorry. I came in hot.
Hey, wouldn't have you any other way, Ross. You're consistent. You've always come in hot. 15
Sam had
years
it
of
coming.
coming in hot.
Sam had it coming. Oh, man. Oh, both my elbows just cracked.
Healthy.
Oh, Michael Gove has been sacked.
Oh!
He hasn't resigned. He's been sacked.
Yeah. So are we going now from Ghostbusters into... All right, now let's talk politics. I'm gonna get a fag out just...
Just remember,
the
you
government's
two
lying
have
to you,
jobs and
ladies
we
and
are live. Maybe we should save the politics going on right now for after the podcast.
Nah, go for it.
I've got no one to have me sacked.
Well, yeah, who's going to fight?
It's quite amazing, though, isn't it? Because
Boris Johnson, Ross, he's coming for you. He's firing everyone.
the new chancellor is May Chancellor has gone to the Prime Minister and said you should resign, and then tomorrow apparently he's going to be launching a new economic plan with him. And you're like, you've been given a job, you've told your boss that he has to quit his job, and despite doing that, you're now on side again. And like,
Can I just little sidebar? Did everyone else know that Michael Gove's actual job in the cabinet was levelling up minister?
Yeah, just want to silly.
So what's he doing? Like out there, like killing a bunch of like low-level boars or something to get the farming
just
XP?
killing boars in the forest.
You know, he's out there just like farming XP. After the level up, I've got to get my alchemy skills up.
Right now, I'm picturing that montage from that episode of South Park. You know, Make Love Not Warcraft. And I'm just hearing like "Live to Win" and Gove just like stabbing.
And Michael Gove shitting in a bucket.
Till you die. Till the love dries in your eyes. Stab. I fucking hate Michael Gove, by the way. Fuck him.
He's such a slimy piece of shit. Isn't
a fish-lipped fucking prick is what he is. Hey, I'd love to slap the taste out of his mouth.
Can we clip that, Sam?
Oh, this is all staying in. This is all. Yeah. This is. I think this. We're gonna have. This is like Imaginary Movie Podcast unplugged. Just wild. Yeah. Really wild, fancy.
Is we might have an election. I love an election.
Imaginary Movie Podcast unsigned. That's the only way we get away with this fucking shit. Is because no one pays attention to us. The minute this gets picked up, it's like, hey guys, it's your boy Sam David Ross. Hit the subscribe button.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Link in the description.
What's up, guys?
God, I hate YouTube. Fucking YouTubers, honestly, die.
Sorry, what were we saying about Gove?
Something. So he's been sacked. He's been sacked. Presumably because he's gone to the Prime Minister and said it's over, and not. And they've got history as well, obviously. Him and Boris.
This is not the first time Michael Gove has been sacked by Boris Johnson.
Really?
Well, Gove was going to support Johnson in the leadership contest, and then Gove said, "I'm going to go myself," and then Boris didn't run, and then Theresa May was Prime Minister. Or no, was that after Cameron? I don't know, can't remember. But
Boris and Gove basically, were instrumental in the Brexit campaign. Then they were going to replace David Cameron, as Boris Johnson was, with Gove's support.
Yes.
And then Gove, like Sam says, basically abandoned him and decided to run by himself. And then Boris Johnson's campaign collapsed. But then he still had enough, influence to basically collapse Gove's campaign as well. They both lost. And then we had fucking God knows how many years of Theresa May being incompetent about the government, which actually was just like a really good warm-up act to a really shit fucking 4 years of
this isn't
shit feast, wasn't
this
it?
is wild.
The roast
though.
shit Sunday.
This is wild because he basically the cabinet has gone and told him it's over, and he said no. That has never happened.
What
British
movie
political
is it
history.
where like basically the leader is like, things coming around him, and like some people goes to him like, it's over. It's never over. I'll tell you when it's over. I can't think of the movie. When I do, I'll message you.
It's exactly that. He's a totally mad person who's obviously like, I won't resign. They'll have to carry me out of here in a box. And it's like, when Trump, everyone was afraid Trump was going to like basically, like just dig into the White House and have a load of like Marines like shooting anyone who tried to come near.
Yeah.
That's the same kind of mentality here.
Energy. Yeah, that's same
It's,
energy.
it's less like going to take over the world Trump thing, but
But Boris is more serious because like Trump is like a flailing child. Boris is a slightly older, spoiled child, and like he genuinely feels entitled to this leadership. Like,
he keeps talking about. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going on with this. I was going to say I can't like articulate well enough the sort of the vitriol and venom I fucking contain for this man and for most of his fucking party. I can't, like, things that have happened. Like, I know he wasn't in charge then, but like, Theresa May was. But like, you look at things like Grenfell and all the atrocities. Like, fucking who was the guy who got assassinated? Is it Salisbury? Whatever the place is called, and they did nothing. Why? Because fucking they donate money to them. Like, their corruption is so, I can't think of the word. It's so prevalently, visible.
They're not making any attempt to hide it, Ross, because they're so arrogant that
What
they
was the
believe
bitch's name?
that
Nadine
they
Dorris.
don't have to fucking.
When they were having the no confidence vote, and Nadine Dorris was like, "Well, what these, the vote on, like the MPs were going to vote on no confidence with Boris Johnson," and she gave an interview. I don't know if you guys saw this, but like, and she said in the interview, live, full fucking cognitive ability, saying, "Well, what our MPs need to remember is that we have donors, and they expect us to vote." Like, bitch, fuck you. Like, literally, you get paid a salary to fucking represent your people, but the donors, I get. And you know what? In a way, fair play, because at least you're open and honest about who you give a shit about, because it isn't the people who fucking voted for you, it's the cunts with the money, and you're a fucking tramp to boot. Sorry, lads. Go on. What were you going to say?
All right.
Oof, easy, Ross.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, honestly. Fucking
41 MPs have resigned now.
keep it fucking going. Burn it down. Burn it all down. Honestly, fucking keep it going.
It's amazing.
Here's something I don't get. Explain this to me. Explain this to me. So I get the whole thing. You vote for MPs, and then the MPs vote for who the leader of the party is. Theresa May. What? How do you decide who
votes for the leader of the party?
Say that again?
Yeah, but that's what he's saying. Yeah.
That's what I said. Yeah. So Theresa May, she resigned, but she still gets to be an MP.
Yeah, because she's resigned her job as a government minister or the prime minister, but she hasn't resigned as an MP because she's still voted in by the representative.
Yeah.
She's a representative of that constituency.
There's an election though since then. So who's going to vote for the person who resigned?
She's
Do you know what I mean?
Because she's probably a good enough local MP, and
Because you can be a
Save
good
Tory
local
seats.
MP and look out for the. Do you know what I mean? Like where I grew up, we had a Lib Dem MP for years and years because he was a really good local MP. But it's usually a Tory safe seat. So he was Lib Dem MP for 10 years. He resigned, he retired, and it's immediately been a Tory seat in every election since. But like, people have a real attachment. If it's a local MP they know, who they've seen, who they perceive to be helping out their local community, they'll keep voting for them. Theresa May, you're like, yeah, she's in a really safe Tory seat, has decided not to retire completely, and obviously just been re-elected by the people that she's have voted for her before, because they're not voting for her to be prime minister, which she was shocking at, but presumably she's an all right MP.
I mean, maybe I'm just a contrarian, spiteful person. But if I had a local MP who was PM, they're like, "Oh, I'm resigning now. I've let the people down." I'd be like, "Well, yeah, you have. So you shouldn't get still to be MP. You wouldn't get my vote next time. Do you know what I mean? Like, you failed. You failed. You appreciate your failure to such a level that you've quit, but you still get you're done. You're done.
No, I
done
don't
with it.
agree, Ross, because like you're leading the country is a very different set of skills and like job aptitude
You
to
shouldn't have stepped up in
being
the
an
first
MP.
place. You shouldn't have stepped up in the
She
first
didn't really
place.
want to be party leader, Ross. There was no one else.
Oh, I guess I'll do it. Oh, okay. Bullshit! It's you're going to be the leader of this country. Oh, the power goes to your head. Goes to your head.
Again, I
Don't you
can't
tell
wait
me.
for Ross's like Joe Rogan style like YouTube channel. Where he
Just
screams
because he's
about
bald.
something
I mean, you
coherently
have
for
to
hours.
go there, Dave. Honestly,
It's the energy. It's the
it's
no, it's not the bald
disrespectful.
thing. It's not the bald thing, Sam. It's the energy. I don't think any of us can
What
throw
about-
the ball stone around.
Yeah, but I
for
don't-
much longer, to be fair.
I don't. I don't think Ross. I don't think Ross has got the appalling right wing philosophy that Joe Rogan seems to have. So,
That's
Ross,
cool.
develop that, and you've got a hit show in your hands.
Well, you know what I mean. I'll give it a go.
But you will have to sell your soul. But you'll get money. So,
I mean, and if you can
See,
get
that's the
behind
thing.
that,
I'm
Ross,
willing
you're
to sell
halfway
my
there
soul.
to those right wing principles.
They should put you like an idea in your head of where they lie with me. I'd be willing to sell out for money, no problem. But it's like, but you got to be right wing. Oh,
how much money?
I mean,
yeah,
ultimately, yeah, the price goes up, doesn't it? The price goes up.
yeah, it really does. But like the price goes up to such a amount, we're like, no, you're not going to pay that. And then they'll probably be like, try us. Oh, okay.
1 million?
Yeah, well,
5 million?
yeah,
10 million?
guys, what is the limit here? I mean,
Let's close these borders then, guys, shall we? Let's get on with it.
yeah. Honestly.
We need to talk about Point Break, otherwise it's going to be like 11 o'clock.
I was gonna say, like, I'm thinking, let's run out the clock and save Point Break to next week because we get another like solid 15 minutes in. That's an episode. Cut it, print it, we're done. You know?
With a really topical political bit in the middle of it.
That won't date at all. In fact, that
We can
yeah,
do a post episode review of like, God, we were idiots. What were we talking about last week?
I think even if we recorded an episode tomorrow, this one was not going to be relevant very long, considering how quickly this is moving. It's crazy. I mean, I'm not adverse to if you've got an interesting movie discussion to have to give us another 10 minutes. We could.
Tell you what, Dave watched American Pie for a bit. Let's touch on that.
Oh, here we
Let's,
go.
this could be a new podcast idea, like like podcast shorts. We talk a bit about this movie. We'll talk a bit about that movie. We won't.
What I like is
Go
what,
We'll go round, guys. We'll do a little bit of round table here. I'll talk about American Pie for a few minutes, and then you talk about something you've watched, Ross, and you talk about something you've watched, Sam. Not for the podcast, if you can imagine such a thing. I watched because this was podcast related, but not our podcast. A podcast I listened to is doing an episode on the original American Pie this month, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't seen that movie in like
What podcast?
10 years or so." And
what podcast?
We Hate Movies.
Oh,
They've got enough money though, so pay us, don't pay
yeah,
them.
Patreon. Fuck you.
Hang on. Did I hear you right? You're going to be on another podcast, or you're watching it because you heard them
I
talking
listened
about
to another podcast called We Hate Movies.
Okay. I'm slightly less betrayed now.
I'm not going to be on their podcast, Ross. They have like tens of thousands of
I
listeners.
was like, Dave's on another podcast? Well,
Who's
fuck you. Go ahead.
He's got his own
Go
network.
to your other podcast.
He's got his own network.
No,
Dave.
so American Pie is a film from 1999, and fucking hell, is it a film
Ross, have
from
you seen it?
1999?
Ross, have you seen this film?
Oh, yeah. Well, see,
Sorry, Dave,
you
go on,
noticed the
go on.
tone there because Sam asked me, knowing the answer, because American Pie is a little risque, a little bit lowbrow. So Sam knew when he asked what the answer was going to be. You're as transparent as glass, Sam. You pretentious prick. Go ahead, Dave.
Go, Dave, go.
So, anyway, I thought I'll watch this. It's on Now TV. It's like, it's fine. It's what 90 minutes. It's not a very long movie.
Yeah.
Fuck me, does everyone in that movie look dreadful? I don't know what. I don't know if it's like the fact it's obviously shot on a digital camera, like a really early digital camera. And obviously, no one's doing like a HD remaster of American Pie from 1999. Do you know what I mean? It's not that kind of movie. So, number one, you've got all these people who like look dreadful because of the fashion and because they're on this horrible old digital camera. Everyone's super sweaty. I don't know what it is. This must be like the sweat model where everyone is super sweaty and like
It must just been a really. When did they shoot it? Because it must just been. I've noticed it before as well. Jason Biggs especially, like Jesus.
Oh yeah, there is beads of sweat on his face this entire movie. He looks like he's about to have a heart attack.
So Dave, what is your problem then with American Pie?
That's one thing. I can get past that because it's kind of like sometimes it's fun to watch movies like that where you're like, oh my god, this looks absolutely horrendous because it was made at that interval. But then they start talking and it's like it's what we thought teenagers who were cool sounded like. Not cool, but like what teenagers sounded like, sort of, in that period, and the things they're talking about and the way that they're talking, and it's like, oh, this is really difficult. And like Finch, they've got their nerdy friend who's like drinks coffee and rides a moped and like talks about classic literature. And you know,
the one who is spent. Oh no, not Finch. Yeah, so there's Finch. Yeah, right. So they all. I was going to say the one who spends his whole time manipulating women to try and have sex with them, but they kind of all do that. But Finch is like the one who's supposed to be the clever guy, and I remember watching this.
Pretentious prick. You watch it, and everyone went to school with someone like this. Someone who puts on airs and talks in a very posh fashion and references the adult. Do you know the sort of kid who wants to be 40 years old? Like they've skipped being a cool teenager or in their 20s, and they're like, I want to be 45 years old. I'm going to drink a Merlot.
I'm gonna just have a little bit of. I'm gonna have a moment of a little bit of self-reflection there. That I maybe was a little bit like that. But only because I've always
piece of shit.
Yeah. But I've always wanted to be slightly older than I am, because I'm like, well, you know, like when I'm older, I might have like a job and I'll have like money and then you
don't get to justify it like that.
No, hold on. Hold on.
The girls like the older gent.
No,
I shall be that. Throws on his fedora.
Nothing to do with women. Nothing to do with it. Purely to do with. When I'm older, I'll have a bit more money. Like that's not really turned out to be true. Oh, when I'm older, I'll have a bit more time. That's not turned out to be true at all. When I'm older, I won't have any pressures like exams. Oh no, not really. That's not to be true either. Like, none of this is true. So actually, I think that what I should have done is carried on trying to be a stupid 14-year-old. But then 14-year-olds are so stupid.
You buying this, Dave?
Very true. Very true. So anyway, and all of that, and they're talking, and it's like, I watched about 20 minutes of it, and I was like, I think they got to the bit where they introduced Alison Hannigan, and that's an even worse of like, you know, the stereotypical like geek sort of character in a movie, and you're like, oh, this is just unwatchable. Like, it's really difficult to not even like any of these characters. It's really difficult to listen to any of these characters, and then you get the bit where Jason Biggs is watching pornography, like on like an illegal cable in his room, and his mum and his dad come in and are like. And you're like,
hold on. I mean, the worst bit of that film is when on webcam the woman is changing, and
when Jason Biggs commits a sex crime.
Yeah, and it literally.
I remember that scene.
An actual thing he could be arrested and prosecuted for.
And absolutely should be, because he's aware of what's going on, and then. He's sending the link around, I think, or how everyone else is like, everyone else see, and they're all of them just.
He sends the link to his, but this happened to someone at my school actually, sidebar, it's a separate conversation. He sends the link round to his friends, and then his friends share it to everyone. At school, it wasn't even our school, someone at another school took a load of naked pictures for their boyfriend. The boyfriend sent it to some of his friends, and so on and so forth, and every school in my town everyone had these naked photos of this poor girl.
I mean, and because she was a child as well, you know what I mean? It's like even more fucked up. It's just beyond. And that is the thing that happened in American Pie. Like, and that's the start of the movie, and you can't really get over that, can you? You can't really get over that because it is. And I just think when when we're watching like 80s movies. And you're thinking, oh, Jesus, like that's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse for us as we're watching movies from the 2000s.
We're at the peak of our time.
because we are more aware of these things, and like it's an actual crime now. Whereas in 2000, that wasn't a crime. No one's getting arrested for
comedy, and like nobody's thinking, oh, that poor, by the way, foreign exchange student who doesn't really speak the language, who's being taken advantage of.
Oh yeah, but Dave, you forgot, and this is the movie talking. She's pretty. Who cares? Who gives a shit? You know, like
every time we start a sentence with, "Hey, don't forget." Oh God, it gets worse. There's more. There's more.
I think American Pie is one of those. But tell you what, it's so formative, isn't it? It's one of those formative movies for all of us of that age, because it was like this was the edgy humor, this was the edgy comedy, and I don't know where it sits, Dave, on your spectrum. The Newell spectrum, I think, is what we named it last week. Well, in terms of the,
I haven't heard about this. I haven't listened to the episode yet.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't call it that. It's gonna make your head.
Oh no, please tell me.
In terms of your where it fits on the scale of the comification of comedy, I think you need to find a better phrase. I don't like saying it.
I don't think I want to find my name on the scale.
But it being, you know, comedy is just turned into like gross out stuff, and American Pie is kind of like that. But at the same time, there is more going on as well, because it's the kind of nerdiness and the social commentary about being a teenager is all there. So like
it's contextual. Like the jizziness of that movie is fairly contextual. Like,
yeah,
you know, something like there's something about Mary. Like the jizz scene seems to be like, well, how can we get her to put jizz in her hair? Like, and you know, so we have to go through the whole thing of like and listen to our episode on that movie. But you have to go through these hoops to have that in the movie. Whereas American Pie, it's almost incidental. Of like, yes, the jizz is there because it's this movie about, you know, horny loser teenagers who are like, you know, absolutely thick as pig shit. And so the pie thing. Oh my God, the pie thing. I think the film is called American Pie. I feel like we forget the actual reason it's called American Pie is because he has sex with an apple pie.
A pie. Yeah. I mean, we're laughing.
The thing is, like,
we're laughing
when that movie came out. You know, like, and in Ireland, like, I don't know if you guys had the same, but like,
do they have cinema in Ireland, Ross?
Listen, Sam, we all know your opinions.
Sorry.
You bigot. But I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but when the movie was doing the rounds, basically the rumor mill was going is that he actually, you know, fucked the pie. You know, and like obviously, you know, now in our day and age, like, oh no, that can't be true. And I'm looking through the IMDb fucking trivia, and I'll read you an excerpt here.
Oh, before storied and reliable, factual source.
Tell us, Ross. Tell us.
Before Jason Biggs filmed the pivotal scene, he had a momentary crisis of confidence. He called his manager in a panic, asking him, "Am I about to ruin my career before it even starts?" His manager told him, "Jason, you go and fuck that pie with all you got, man."
I 100% believe that.
Also, kind of Jason Biggs. Yes, you kind of are. You're going to do these movies,
and then you're not going to be culturally significant until the middle of like 2014 or something, when you're going to be the boyfriend of
Orange is the New Black.
Orange is the Black.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I know. You know, I think American Pie is it probably does hold up very poorly, but I think the others, I think American Pie 2, American Pie Bandcamp, and then American Pie on and on and on. The only person's left is the dad. What's his face?
There's a new one. Oh my God!
I think we actually discussed this before.
I don't think it was on an episode though, was it?
I don't know. I don't know what we're discussing.
Anyway,
what were we discussing, Ross?
There's a new one which he's not in.
Oh yeah. That's very, very likely. I mean, he was in Bandcamp actually, but I was telling you guys before in that a couple of years ago, you know, when Tesco sold like loads of DVDs and stuff, and you had American Pie, the movie, and it was like, you know, $14.99 or something, and then you had American Pie, the anthology it was called.
Such a it's a very Greek Roman word for
First of all, take
the
a moment for that.
anthology.
The anthology. The anthology was $9.99.
Wow.
So the sequels were so bad they actually detracted from the value of the base movie.
Presumably that's because back in the days when you're like, oh, fucking it's someone's birthday, shit, what am I getting? My fucking go to Tesco. I'll DVD. Who doesn't love a DVD? And you're like flicking through, and Gladiator, and American Pie, and you're like, oh, but I can get all of them for £5 less. But then I have to give someone American Pies 1 to 40.
The American Pie anthology.
And they might look at it and they might just punch me in the face with the box. Presumably quite a big box, just mashing on the floor until there's just nothing left, just a putty of human brains.
If I bought Ross a copy of the first American Pie, like I can't think why I would do that, but it might be like, oh, this is a movie we sort of remember from being kids, and oh, that's thoughtful and whatever. But if I buy you like all 17 of the sequels starring nobody straight to video, you're a bit like, what does this guy think of me? That he thinks I'm going to sit and watch 15 hours of Eugene Levy watching people have sex.
Then I've got to look down at the gift I've just opened, and then look at Dave's smiling face. Thanks, Dave. Thanks.
I really liked
Amazon gift card.
I really liked that first one. Yeah, it's a great film.
By the way, I definitely want to mention it because we were talking about the all-female remakes. The newest American Pie is an all-female, like, set in high school. It's basically like the first movie but with women, and apparently it's heinous. I haven't obviously.
What year? 2020. Oh,
2020.
Oh, hold on. Quite. American Pie presents Girls Rules. Oh, look at that title. It doesn't begin with a D. It's got. It's a straight to DVD sex comedy directed by Mike Elliott. The 5th installment of the American Pie. Hold on. It's the 5th installment of the American Pie Presents film series, a spin-off of the American Pie franchise, and the 9th overall in 9 movies. 9 movies.
Is it answer the proper question, the hard-hitting stuff. Is it Girls Rules with a Z?
It's Girls apostrophe Rules.
Oh.
So it's not Girls Rules.
Is it with a Z?
No.
Okay. Well, that's why.
That seems like a real problem. Like, how is your marketing going to work there?
Right? Yeah. How are they going to know if they rule if it's not spelled incorrectly?
And also,
if they don't show
it's a straight to video sex comedy. Just put the Z in. It's more fit to the genre.
Yeah, because there's a guy like me in the marketing team. Put a Z on the title.
It can't make left sales, surely.
I'm just going to read a line to you here from the plot summary. Ellen helps Michelle realize that Oliver is the perfect guy for her, as he also has a love of John F. Kennedy, and when doing an imitation of his speech, she realizes she likes him. Now, I just love the idea in 2020
it's
that
quite as sexy as assassinated presidents.
But also that presumably the target of this audience is the same target audience that we were, which is 17, 18 or whatever. And what they're going
were born in 2003.
what they're going for
40
exactly.
years. JFK was assassinated.
Exactly. They're making a really relevant reference to an assassinated president they likely have never heard of.
Was this film written by the writers of American Pie 1's grandfathers?
I can't answer that question. It was written by Blaine Weaver. And
what a culturally significant reference.
Yeah.
This teenager at high school, he really loves JFK. What?
Wow. He there's so many things that he's done, but not really anything. I just think it goes back to what we were started with. It goes back to franchises, doesn't it? It goes back to franchises. Now, this is straight to DVD, so it's not cinema, but at least there is somebody thinking, yeah, this is still making money. Like, we can still do this. We can still pump these out, and everyone will have a great time.
Now, you
At
have
least with
to wonder
straight
then as
DVD.
well. I have a theory here because you have to think, because it's going straight to DVD, they're taking their market into account here. So regions that don't have great internet for streaming. So there are regions in, like, the south and southwest of the United States that has appalling internet, and these are the same sort of regions as well that, like, are, say, more conservative. So anything that's a bit risque, they're dying for. They are absolutely, if you'll forgive my use of the word, thirsty. And then so you have and other regions that don't have internet, so you need something to absorb this type of content.
I do think
Up to you guys to rebut that.
I do. I think that's perfectly correct. I do think we should watch this. And
I was going to say, are we watching this?
yeah. Well. One last thing on
I don't
this.
necessarily disagree. It's kind of like Disney used to have a lot of like straight to DVD stuff, which I presume now will go to their streaming thing. Like sequels to Snow White.
Disney
or
Plus
Beauty.
streaming now. Benedict
You know,
Cumberbatch.
the sort of thing I mean. Like when we were kids, like there's a whole like market for straight to DVD releases or straight to video as it used to be. That like you can make money that way because you can make a movie for like 600 grand, and that's
A tenner.
ultimately not going to be that. You're not going to have to pay for any marketing. You just get it out there. So you can yes, you're not going to make fucking $1 billion, but you're going to make some money on it.
Yeah, and that's
No,
what it's about,
absolutely.
isn't it? Even if you make, this doesn't have we don't have a box office figures for this, but presumably it made enough money.
I mean, we're
Because
getting into Pedencast now, but sorry to interrupt you, Sam. But if you think of things then, like you said, if very little marketing costs, then so DVDs they'll put on the shop floor. I mean, other than the cost of goods, cost of getting the discs printed and manufacturing and whatnot, it's a very, very, very low sort of cost for potentially a fair bit of returns.
4 or 5 million, maybe.
Yeah.
Like none of these people are going to be top level. I guess that's
And maybe
fine,
a
isn't it?
tenth of that spent on getting
On the
them
plus
to-
side, it's 95 minutes long, so it wouldn't be much
95
investment.
was long for that movie.
You shave 5 minutes off, Sam. You got yourself a deal. But then
Well,
again, even if the credits are 5 minutes, that's
No,
a 90-minute movie.
3 minutes of credits, right? And you're going to have to take 92 minutes. I'm sorry, that's my final offer. That is my
I'll
final
start the movie
offer.
2 minutes in.
I'll just put it on double speed for half an hour, and that's it. You go.
I think we should watch this movie, but I will with the caveat of like everyone has an eject button. Like we're watching the movie, right? Everyone's got a button that says
That's brilliant.
either this is not worth my time, which it won't be, but not even that, but this is not going to make a good podcast. Like I think that's going to have to be the line.
We've done that before. We have
so bad.
absolutely done that before.
So
Why have
bad
we done that on?
that we think we can't even talk about it for 45 minutes.
Joe
That's really going
suggested,
to be like a pull the ripcord thing.
yeah.
What was it?
Joe suggested we watch some fucking movie. It was some I don't know, even the horrible history people about Shakespeare, and I just after 20 minutes, I was just like, Joe, there's nothing to talk about.
Joe
Comedy's
really has
hard
a
enough.
niche, doesn't he? Muppets and horrible history.
Absolutely. There was just comedies are hard enough, right, to talk about sometimes.
Yes.
But there was just nothing. There was just nothing to remarkable. And I'm like, there's 4 things in the trivia bit on IMDb. Now we've got pretty good at stretching that out to 40 minutes, right? But fuck me, there's still another 20 minutes we need to fill there, and it was just me and him as well. Dictated the way you were, Dave.
Do you know what it was? I knew what movie we were doing, and I had
You
something I
fucking
needed to do,
piece
and I was like,
of
no,
shit.
and I was like, we could rearrange for another night, but really, I don't mind missing this one, guys. I don't mind sitting this one out.
Oh, Nick.
And then they didn't do it because it was so shit.
And then we did an episode of Star Trek, which is absolutely the right decision, even though
Oh, it's never the right decision.
It is.
It's never the right. Jesus, that is your fucking go-to. And I'm sorry. I know I've been out of a few episodes, but God Almighty, we're having complaints, guys. We're having complaints about too much.
We're not. I'd love some complaints. We've only had one complaint once, which
That's
was about an
engagement.
episode that Sam and Joe did.
that's engagement. Like, comment, subscribe,
You don't do
engage,
that, Sam.
engagement.
Hey, all press is good press. Don't be that guy, Sam.
Well, when we have zero press, I would take bad press. I would take it. And this episode actually might be a generous source of it go forward. So,
fingers crossed.
Well, this is. I think we've impressively turned an impromptu discussion about how Ross is an idiot into 59 minutes worth of content. I mean, I'm very impressed with that.
Or is it about how you are just a snob? Just no fancy way to put it. You're just a snob.
I completely agree with that, Ross. 1,000% agree. And I think we've both agreed on. You've agreed with my point. I've agreed with your point. Consensus has been reached.
Just a typical conservative snob. just a
typical documentary about
conservative party donating snob. Just a
Ross,
conservative party donating.
Please. That's too far. That's too far, Ross.
You've pushed me, Sam. You pushed me.
I've provoked you.
You think I want to do that? You think I want to insult you like that? No.
You 100% do. That's the reason we have this podcast. That's the fundamental reason that we have this podcast.
You caught me.
It's for the insults. Yeah. Right. Well, are we going to wrap it up there? Unless if you've got another point? We got to 1 hour 54 minutes. Look at that. 54 seconds. Well done.
I was going to say 1 hour 54 minutes.
Fucking hell.
Strap in.
What clock are you using, Sam?
That's our ambition. 2 hour episodes every week. Now we don't have to watch a movie.
I feel like we've done a really long episode. What was it?
I think Snyder Cut was 2+
that was
hours.
Like a 45-second episode, Ross.
One of our best episodes, in my opinion.
Snyder Cut was, I think, because we foolishly went through the plot.
How did Ross talk us into watching a 4-hour movie?
I don't know.
I cannot believe I managed to go. Sam's like, fine. Really? Seriously? All right.
At that point, if even Sam was willing to watch it, I was like, I'm going to look a real dick if I don't want to watch this.
Well, exactly. And the best bit is, 2 hours in, Sam's like, oh my God, why watch this? But it's like, well, you're in now. You're in. You can't not watch it now. We've all watched it. You're in, boy.
I just think...
Again, eject button, just fucking pull the cord.
Snyder Cut was 2 hours, 10-minute episode, which for a 4-hour movie, I think we probably restrained ourselves. Yeah. I think that might be our longest one. Yeah. So we've got another hour and 10 minutes to get to beat that if we want to do that tonight.
All right, let's get a water break.
What else you got, Dave?
I was going to say before we go. Obviously, we've talked American Pie. You two, have you been watching anything interesting or noteworthy or shit?
I watched an episode, a documentary called Inside Job, which
what a
was
fucking nerd.
Yeah, which was about the 2008 financial crash. And it's funny because it was made in 2010, and it's still quite fresh, and they're still like, the impact of this is not. I'm like, oh God, the impact of this guy.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I thought you were watching the Spike Lee movie when you texted me.
Yeah.
I was like, the Spike Lee movie.
Because I sent you the Wikipedia link, and you saw the word inside, and then just went, oh yeah, great Spike. I'm like, we watched that fairly recently for the podcast. Why would I be watching that again? Click the fucking link, Dave. Click the link, and then you'll be.
Thumbnail.
But it's loosely, and it's similar because they've got the same kind of formats in terms of how they describe what the stuff is. The Big Short is very, very similar, which is a good movie. Yeah, it's really worth watching. It's entertaining, and it covers a lot more of the kind of detail as well. But I would suggest that, and it's on Netflix, so nice and easy to watch.
Very good.
What are you watching, Ross?
Oh, I kind of don't want to tell you guys because I've seen a few things. I've watched Multiverse.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this.
Trust me. You're not ready. The level of disgust, disdain you're about to throw my way is something savage. So, I mean, a few. Yeah, tell me what you've been watching. So, a few honorable mentions.
I love the build-up. Let's keep delaying it.
Yeah, let's keep delaying it. Tease it out.
I watched Spider-Man, No Way Home. I watched Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Nerd.
I want to tell you what I want to watch, Casino, because I've seen some clips of that now, like on social media. I'm like, oh, yeah.
You've never seen Casino?
No, I literally just said I want to watch Casino again. We've had conversations. All right, okay. If you're taking
I'm
the piss, that's
joking.
fine.
Go on.
Okay, that's fine. I
You shut the fuck
genuinely
up.
thought you were serious.
Let's talk about Casino for a
I had to
second.
reach through the
Casino,
screen.
Casino or Goodfellas. Now I know obviously Goodfellas is a better constructed movie, but I'm talking about like the world that they create. Because as much as I love Goodfellas, and I think it is superior in itself, I love the 80s ish, late 70s, 80s.
Vegas.
Not the Vegasness.
Baby. Yeah.
I love that more.
that.
Casino is
That and De Niro in Goodfellas, like it's not
Yeah.
doing a lot. Like Pesci's doing loads and
Yes.
Ray Liotta's doing loads, but De Niro's kind of like very static in that movie.
Yeah.
Comes
Whereas
in,
you know,
he
it's
goes
like,
mental,
It is
he
the
leaves.
Pesci and De Niro show, and I fucking love it.
Yeah, live for it. Live for it. Yeah, like you say, Sam, like Goodfellas is much more. It's just a higher quality movie, isn't it? But Casino, I find it's a much more enjoyable watch, and I couldn't put my finger on my like obviously the things you guys just pointed out, but it's just it's more entertaining. Less of a sad ending as well. I mean, 90% of the cast gets killed in the end of both movies anyway.
But it feels lighter though, doesn't it? It feels more like whereas Goodfellas is.
I think it's because it's Vegas and it's bright and it's like the showiness of it.
Yeah.
They capture
Yes.
quite well. Whereas Goodfellas
It's more like an
is about,
80s movie.
New York in the 70s. So there are basically dead bodies in the street, and it's a bit less showy.
Right, carry on then, Ross, because we're not really.
we
We
remember
haven't
not
obviously
judging
gotten
it.
to the embarrassing bit, have
Right,
we?
no more dragging out. Okay, it's
Go,
not a TV
go.
show. It's not.
Yep.
It's not a movie.
I'm close.
Love Island.
Oh, Ross, it was so much worse than I thought it would be.
Wow,
I
right.
told you. I told
Let's,
you.
right, let's not judge.
Than you.
Let's not judge just yet.
Let's
Tell us
not
what.
judge. For those of you not
Didn't
watching
even
the
lead in
stream,
with my wife
I
is
saw-
making me watch.
Sell us this.
for those
Sell
of-
me Love Island right now.
Oh man, I can't. I cannot.
Why?
Because if it's
Well,
because
no,
if
okay, well, I'll tell you, it's because you get a good window into like the sheer vapidness and and sort of hunger for fame that is so thinly concealed, and you see what people are capable of debasing themselves to, and you feel good about yourself because you're like, well, I may be a piece of shit, but I am not a vapid piece of shit as much as they are,
That's a convoluted reason to enjoy something, Ross.
I mean, the thing is, I went to I visited my family in Ireland last week, and now my sister-in-law absolutely loves Love Island. No shame about it. Fair play to her. One of the things is like we were staying in her house. One of the rules is when this is on, everyone shut the fuck up. This is on. Okay, fair enough. We're in our house. It's our rules. And as we're watching, I can't help but take it in, and you get wrapped up in the drama. And the girl, you kiss the guy, or the guy kisses the girl. And go, oh no, he didn't. Oh, what's Susan Sarah Joe gonna say about this? Oh no, he didn't. And it's great because then you also get these people always seem to forget that it's a recorded show, and so they're often these separate houses, and and they're doing the dirt on one another. And then they come back in, they're like, oh, it was always you, babe. Oh, I missed you. Oh, I love you. And then basically the producer then, oh, by the way, why don't we show you the footage of them is saying, oh, I don't care about her. You're the only girl for me. And then you get a great fight. And then you get people taking each other down a peg. Like I said, it's a great window into why humans are trash, and you get to feel better about why you're not as big a piece of shit.
I'm
I'd say I'm going to pick it up. I can't.
No, but-
promise
but-
that.
Don't.
But I'm gonna defend you a little bit, Ross. I'm
yourself.
gonna defend you a little bit. I don't think I've watched Love Island, but there is something about.
Well, you know what? I can go on further, Sam. I'm 100% certain you haven't watched Love Island.
Well, but there's something about though. There's something about like reality TV is kind of hard to turn away from. It's because it is incredibly well made, and it's designed to attract your attention. And yes, obviously, Love Island in its most obvious form. I'm sure you're absolutely not watching it for this at all, Ross. No, not at all. But it's full of voluptuous, naked people walking around in their nakedness, doing sexual things.
I hadn't noticed.
Is it?
Yeah. No, Oh, I suppose. You know what? Upon second look, yeah, I guess you're right.
I'm just going to play the role of your wife for a second. Do you think she's pretty, Ross?
Who? That's the answer. Not
Her.
Oh no, sort of.
Her there. Oh, she's pretty, isn't she, Ross?
You can't, like, for those of you listening on this, the correct response is, like, as soon as they begin to talk, you turn your face towards the wall. So then when they turn to talk,
Ross,
you think she's
no. I need. Tell her she is though, isn't she? She's pretty, Ross, isn't she? Isn't she, Ross? Isn't she, Ross? What's your response, Ross?
Who? If you stall long enough and you say who, or what, or the thing that see the thing is, what I'm really bad at is, like, here's another thing as well. The wife loves Strictly Come Dancing. Now I hate that show. I'll tell you what. I'll say this now. I'll watch Love Island 20 times over before I'd watch an episode.
Wow,
of Strictly Come
that's a strong hatred of ballroom
Oh,
dancing.
lads,
I don't mind that. I don't mind it.
Oh, I'll tell you why you hate it, Sam. I'll tell you why you hate Strictly Come Dancing. If it was purely about, because dancing is a skill, do you know what I mean? The different types of dance, it takes a lot, it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears goes into it, perfecting these, doing the moves perfectly. Absolutely, I can respect that. What I hate is that every season, every couple, it's, we've bonded so much, and I tell you what, it's not just a dance partner. I've made a friend for life. Oh, come here, I love you. Every season, and God, everyone eats it up. And everyone likes everyone else. Some people don't like one another. You know what I mean? That's a fact of life. But it's everyone has made these meaningful relationships. It's going to stand the test of time. Bullshit. No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
Yeah.
You're a fucking liar.
It's very overly produced, isn't it? And because it's not like
1 second, because you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I'll tell you what as well. It has more production than, like, some wrestling shows. Like, I used to love WWE, and basically you'd be like, oh, it's WrestleMania, and it would do you like a flashback of all the clips of how this rivalry got to this moment. Strictly Come Dancing puts WWE to shame. It's and we've done a recording of all these people who want to wish you well, and what do you think about this dance? Well, I think this dance is going to be really hard. Oh, what, like last week? No, nothing like last week. Nothing like last. This week is going to be the test of our relationship. I hate it.
But you know what the trouble with it, though? The reason why it's not as engaging is because they kind of need. It's not like what's that one where the celebrities are in the jungle with Anton Deck? And then they also get like spiders poured on them and things, as if it wasn't bad enough that they're in the jungle with Anton Deck.
It's that show is just.
Anyway,
hold on 2 seconds. That show is
derailing me from my point.
I am, but that show is the fall of Rome, is what that show is.
Yeah. But hear me out here.
Continue.
Hear me out here. That and Celebrity Big Brother and that kind of era of celebrity TV shows, they are like the basis of that is let's get people in the situation and then let's like put them under psychological trauma and see how they react. So obviously the only people they can get are like D-list celebrities. Someone was Hollyoaks for 3 episodes because obviously someone with a career doesn't want to do it. But Strictly Come Dancing, I think, is operating at a higher level where the people that go on that, they are actual like working people in the entertainment industry who are successful and well known, and they go on that TV show to make to increase their popularity.
Look at
so
Ed
therefore,
Balls.
the show has to present them all in a very positive light, and I think that's why it's not as engaging.
Yeah.
Because you have to like all these people.
Former. What was he? He was Chancellor. Was he Chancellor? Yeah, he was Chancellor for Shadow Chancellor for Gordon Brown, for Ed Miliband. Sorry, Ed Miliband, and like big politician, completely goes on that, and everyone loves him. Everyone loves him because he's done his thing, and now he's on TV all the time doing shit.
Isn't he like a reporter or something? I say reporter with like
he's hosted Good Morning Britain a couple of times. Yeah. But I'm gonna disagree a little bit with you, Ross, because I think the things that you don't like about it is that it's not trying to be. It has its own like drama and it's all, but it's not as like overly produced in the sense that they're creating storylines, which is exactly what they do on Love Island.
I'm
On
exaggerating
Love
a little
Island-
bit with the storylines, but Sam, I have to rebut your rebuttal. It's that every episode, every week, it's look at this beautiful friendship that's blossoming. Oh, or is there something more? Oh, is love on the horizon? You know, it's not. No, Sam, I'm gonna
kind of like-
shut this right down. Hang on, Dave. It's trash. It is worse than trash. It is the end of fucking society. Sorry, go ahead.
It sounds like wrestling without the wrestling.
No,
Yeah,
because it's,
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying.
No, you've
That's
got
what
a bunch
I'm
of like good-looking,
No.
sweaty people like having
That's
domestic
Love Island.
dramas play out on stage. Essentially,
No, that's Love Island. Love Island is
That's what I'm talking about.
fake.
That's what I'm talking
What I'm
about.
saying is
I'm
I
not
think.
talking about Strictly.
Oh, right. Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
talking
Yes,
about Love Island.
you're 100%
Obviously,
right.
Strictly is nothing like wrestling, Sam, without the wrestling.
That's
Obviously,
what I
you
thought. That's
fucking
what-
maniac. No, what I mean is Love Island sounds like wrestling
Get
without
the
wrestling, you know?
chair.
If you take the actual fun, like choreographed fights out of it, and it's just people shouting at each other because they're all cheating on each other, like that's it, isn't it?
What is our complaint about TV is it becomes a soap opera, and basically none of the things that happen really matter. It's all just about the relationships. And he said that, I said that, you said that, blah 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 blah. And Love Island is like the ultimate example of that because it's real life in theory, but it's exaggerated. But the producers are sat there feeding them lines or saying, you need to say that line again because you flubbed it or whatever else.
And they're very clever about the people that they get on as well. Like,
Oh yeah, it's no accident. It's no
because
accident.
there's a great Mitchell and Webb look sketch where they're basically it's about The Apprentice, but it's sort of related. Where they're saying like, right, they're pitching a TV show and they said, right, so we're going to, the winner's going to get like this, £1 million a year job doing blah blah blah. We're going to get 20 of the top graduates from business schools across the country, and they're going to compete in this TV show. And then the next meeting, he's like, right, so that was a total failure. No one wanted to see like rich, wealthy, educated people succeed. Right, okay. What if we got 20 absolute fucking idiots, right? And then it's like, oh, but we couldn't give them a job at the end of it because then we'd have to employ these idiots. What's the smallest large amount of money we can give to idiots that they will debase themselves on TV for? And they were like, 10 grand? 10 grand.
And what is Love Island? Is Love Island 100,000?
Love Island's like 50 grand, I think. Or
50
something.
grand. Which,
for the couple that
with inflation, is exactly right.
Yeah.
And it's,
That might fucking pay British Gas for the year. Jesus
But
Christ.
they want that. It's like a friend of ours, mine and Ross's, applied to be on Big Brother way back when.
Yes.
And he was telling us about the process of like you go through like rounds of like interviews and stuff, and they're really choosy about like the types of personalities they want because they don't want you to get along. And I presume Love Island is the same, Ross, where like they want friction, they want the arguments, they want the Jerry Springer effect. Like, so you can't have a bunch of mild-mannered people because it would be very boring watching.
Imagine us on
like
Love
people
Island.
sit around eating cereal.
Imagine.
Love
It
Island
would be
was
this, Sam, but just for fucking 24 hours a day.
Free holiday, free food. Now, you only get 2 alcoholic drinks a day. So that might be
I'd
it.
die.
Really?
I would die.
But, yeah.
Do they limit them? Do they actually limit them to 2 alcohol?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
what can I ask, Ross, what constitutes like an alcoholic drink? Could I have like
I think with
half a
alcohol in
bottle
it.
of whiskey?
You know the bit.
They're going to drink it like nail polish remover or something.
It's another question. Could I, number one,
He's distilling.
Nice
He's
table.
distilling it on a light
With the
on a.
wine.
They're
On a
making
on a-
toilet wine.
I reckon I could get on it with that. Right, I don't
oh
love
shit! There's
it.
been an explosion.
But I am funny. I will hate everyone on there. I promise I will brew toilet wine and steal drinks from the bar for the whole time I'm on, and I will never get voted off because the public will fucking love it.
I mean, there might be quicker ways for you to achieve. And prison might be a way for you to achieve what you're after here.
Day
be fair.
14 in the Big Brother house. Dave's taking the orange peels to the toilet again.
Well, that's a throwback. I wonder what that guy's doing.
Dave,
Big
what
Brother
the fuck
voice
have
guy.
I done for you? No, get away from me!
Who was that American guy who hoarded toilet rolls on that show?
Oh, that's
Do you not remember?
wow.
I don't
I remember
know.
hearing
Dave,
about
have
it.
you
It was
been
like
watching Big Brother?
on the American one.
No.
A toilet roll allowance, and they got an allowance they could spend on certain items, and toilet roll was one of the items they had to buy with this allowance. And one of the guys, all he bought was toilet roll for like 6 weeks, and then basically like he had just this locked cupboard full of toilet roll, and they thought, "Oh, can I have some toilet roll?" No, you can fuck off.
Do you know what? Fair play.
First you control the toilet roll.
Well,
Then you control the.
Just saying, in like a 10-person flat share, like toilet roll is going to be a pretty hot commodity. You know,
It's power play. My memory of my favorite memory of Big Brother is George Galloway pretending to be a cat. Remember this? It's the most disturbing thing you've ever seen. Go on the internet right now. George Galloway, MP. He was an MP, and he sits there pretending, and he sits there, and the woman's stroking him, and he's purring, him. It's absolutely horrifying. It's horrifying.
I'm actively watching Love Island. You guys know or are able to reference a lot more Big Brother scenes than I would have ever fathomed.
Cultural osmosis.
It was quite culturally large when we were at school, Ross. It was like the Waterfall show while we were at school.
Well,
did you have TV in Ireland, Ross? Or...
you're taking the piss. Honestly, our TV was about 10 years behind you guys. We got Hey Arnold like in the mid 2000s.
Hey Arnold, another 2000s throwback.
That's one of those horribly depressing TV shows about orphans.
Yeah, but they never really point out the fact that they're orphans, and you're like, "What? There's an orphanage? We don't even have orphanages anymore. Who's running this?" And you're like, "Shit, it's the Catholic Church, isn't it?" Oh God, no!
Oh God!
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Catholics, you thought you were safe this week.
You're never safe.
Sam got ya. You've just been Sammed. You got jaged.
Well. I'm really glad you shared that with us, Ross. I feel like I took a lot to admit that you watched
brave.
Love Island. I mean, I'd say I'm not judging you. That would be a lie. I'm judging quite severely.
Just never say to me, Ross, that you don't have time. You'd never say to me you don't have time to watch a movie again. I'm sorry. Have you got more? Have you got Love Island catch up on ITV4 plus
Jimmy,
one?
Joe Bob, and Sarah Sue worked it out, Ross. Do you know?
You know their names. Jesus.
I can't help but feel he's making up the names. I mean, I could be wrong, but they sound like made up names.
I'm 100% sure it's close to that at least.
Ekin Sue, and that's one name by the way. India. Paige.
India. Of course, one of them's called India. That just absolutely
Gemma,
reads, doesn't it?
Gemma, who's the daughter? I know I said the son, the daughter of retired footballer Michael Owen. What's her name? Tasha. There's a few other. Then the lads. Then you got Jack.
He does know the names.
Dammy,
he does know the names.
Jay, Davide. I like Davide. There's the Andrew.
Can't say the name. I can't say I love the name.
Yeah, no, he's a cool lad. And then they've brought for the things now. There's Casamore, and they've brought new groups in. And in one of the groups, there's a group of boys and a group of girls, and one of the boys is the son of Ronan Keating. So they're obviously trying to get stuff going there between the two celebrity sibling offspring.
Is that like the lowest level you can infiltrate celebrity? Is like you are the son of a guy from a boy band from 25 years ago.
Do you know, and honestly, no, like Sam pointed out, it's a show of very easily, objectively attractive people, and then you get the Irish guy.
Oh, shame!
You think she's sexy, Ross? Is that what you said? Oh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting, Ross.
And then you get the Irish guy who isn't representing Ireland all that well. He's not doing much for stereotypes. I'll say that. The pastiest, gingerest looking bastard you'd ever see.
I don't think people in Irish houses should throw stones, Ross.
Well, number one, I'm bald, not ginger. Number two, I tan very well.
Do you though, Ross? Because you look. I don't know if it's the lighting where you're sat, but you look.
Well, I'm living in fucking Britain. What do you want? Put me. You pay for me to go on holiday, Dave, and we'll see how well I tan, you bastard. I'm sorry I'm not getting much vitamin D at night in this fucking podcast.
Just the warm glow of that blue glow from the screens
From the
keeping you.
monitor, yeah.
Ooh.
Anyway, my shoulders are sore, lads. Been
Yeah,
carrying this
I think we've we've exhausted your Love Island obsession for this week.
Oh, this is gonna come up again. To be honest,
It is. We are running a very healthy 1 hour 24 minutes talking about absolutely nothing, and this is fun. I've enjoyed.
we should do this more often.
We should. Yeah, we'll see what the listener figures are like. It might be
more
absolutely.
often, Ross. I didn't say often.
Let's listen back and then decide. Let's not make any hasty calls just yet, lads.
Good thing I've got an episode in the bag ready to go for tomorrow, so we don't have to rely on this one. We can hastily come together again on Monday,
This is
Hey, you
just
could
in
cut
case.
this episode into like 3
Jesus.
parts, Sam. Easily. That's 3 weeks worth of content right there.
100%.
You can have a month off.
The first bit where Ross accuses me of unfounded snobbery, absolutely atrocious. The middle bit where we finally talk about what the fuck Ghostbusters is about. And then the final bit when Ross admits to the nation that he watches Love
American
Island.
Pie. You forgot American. You actually forgot a part of the episode.
Oh,
There was also the whole bit where we talked about politics. Like there was like
Yeah.
6 bits.
No, he mentioned politics, and then he just glazed over.
well, definitely. There we go. 6 weeks of content. Little. We should.
we
In
should
fact,
definitely do this. We should definitely do this going forward in episodes, just summarizing what we talked about. So thanks, listeners. In case you weren't paying attention,
it's really entertaining.
there will be a
Yeah.
test next week.
Right, Sam, like a table of contents. If you don't want to listen to politics, skip to.
If you don't-
such and such for the
If you
shocking
don't want to
revelation
listen
of
to
what-
us, then
what
just turn
prime
it off.
time TV, reality TV that Ross is watching.
Yeah. You know what? I would like to do this again. I am worried that we are like peak 3 white guys right now, though. Just rambling away our opinions, just absolutely no
That's like-
context.
That's when one topic ends, and they're like, "What else is going on?"
What else can we spread our very valid opinions about?
Tell you what I had for lunch today.
Ooh,
I
tell you
had-
what, here's a hot
I had a
take
warm
about a
chicken
teen
sandwich.
movie from the 90s.
I had a warm chicken sandwich, and then I had a cold chicken wrap.
God, everything we're saying is so important. It's so important.
And what was the warm sandwich like, Ross? Tell us about that.
What condiments did you have, Ross?
None. It was actually a nice spicy.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this sandwich bit. we can't. I'm sorry.
That's the end. See you next time, probably, hopefully.